Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Money Live. We are so glad you're here, and you know what we're doing today? We are celebrating part 2 of 3, celebrating spenders. Woohoo! I even brought some celebrations.
I think it just shot over. I don't think anybody saw your frillies.
I don't think they did either.
But
we want to celebrate you as a
smells
spender.
good.
That's right, exactly. We want to celebrate you as a spender. We are super excited today to celebrate. We are both primary spenders. And if you don't know what your money personalities are, make sure you know what they are. Your primary and secondary. Go to themoneycouple.com. You'll see the assessment right there.
Right there, take it. 8 minutes later,
Absolutely.
your whole world changes.
We are primary spenders, and we are excited to be talking about why we're so great.
Right. Why spenders are so awesome.
That's right. We
But
really are.
here's the reality. The reality is, as spenders, we're shamed. We're
so
shamed
true.
by society.
We are.
We're shamed by the super uptight money holders. So in modern day United States society, although everybody has credit card debt, you're ashamed if you have any kind of credit card debt. Well, most people have credit card debt.
Well, I hope not.
Let me
but
keep
anyway,
going with my thought here.
Okay, sorry.
Anyways, if you've got the perfect budget and you've got all this perfect money stuff, you're kind of elevated. But if you're a spender and you don't mind spending money and you do spend money, then sometimes you're shamed and
That's right.
you're put down as, too non-cautious
Or
you're
irresponsible.
irresponsible.
Yeah.
And so what we're talking about right now is just some of the great attributes about spenders.
That's right.
Because we tell ourselves this all the time.
And we are excited today to talk about, now a couple things real quick before we get into I love this article. We found this great
amazing article.
It's money really can buy you happiness if it's spent in these 4 ways, according to science. So this is pretty exciting.
And this was out of Inc. magazine.
But the thing that's so neat about spenders, super generous people. Okay, if you have a board that you're on or that you are putting together, Scott mentioned this yesterday, make sure you've got some spenders on your board.
Yep.
Because they're very generous, love to give to people, love to support. It was funny yesterday, we had, for our school, we have a MORP dance. And MORP is prom spelled backwards.
It's where the girls ask the
We
guys.
used to call it City Hawkins, but anyway.
I think that's weird because it's so close to prom.
Oh, yeah, I know, exactly.
Maybe it's a tryout date for
I
prom.
don't know. This is true. Good point. Anyway, but I was kind of excited because they had opportunities for parents to sign up to give money to it. And I was like super excited about it. Now, a saver would be like, oh, they're always asking us for money. But I'm like, yay, we get to support our school. So, there's just really a lot of benefits to spenders. But this article is so great. It's by Minda Zetlin, and there's actually some science, and I love this. She says it's a fascinating study of 4,400 Americans. 4,400 Americans showed pretty definitively that people who value time over money are happier than those who don't. Okay? So go ahead and hire the housekeeper or virtual assistant or splurge on that grocery delivery service. It's highly likely that you'll be glad you did. So, number 1, if you spend your money on extra time,
Giving yourself extra time.
Then that is something that can buy you happiness. Because especially as a spender, because you're willing to pay for that. You're willing to pay for that virtual assistant. You're willing to pay for that housekeeper. You're willing to pay for that gardener. Because if that's going to free up your time, then that is what's most important to you. And I know Scott and I are like that. I mean, we're willing to pay if it gives us freedom of time. Whereas some of the other money personalities, maybe saver, security seeker, might not quite be willing to pay for that, right out there? Do I get a thumbs up for that? Absolutely. So, it's really neat. Spenders are willing to pay, and if they do, it can free up their time. So, the first one is time.
Okay.
All right, the second one, do you want to go
The
with the
second one is you spend it on a great experience.
If you spend money on a great experience, that can bring you happiness.
And this one came from San Francisco State University, and they discovered although people tend to believe that buying physical things will make them happier for longer than spending money on experiences, physical things last longer. In fact, we get used to owning the great new gadget or necklace, the happiness fades into the background within years. But then what they say is when you're buying great experiences, it's this really positive memory that you keep for a lifetime. So we always encourage people, maybe skip on some of the extras that you don't really need. Put that money into a cool vacation. put that money into a spa experience for you and your spouse, because you're never going to forget it, and it gives you something to think back on. And when you're thinking about spending your money, it lets you say, hey, we should do that again, so you can plan forward on it and actually be excited to spend your money in the future too.
Yes. Now today we're talking about spenders, and we're celebrating spenders, and we're talking about 4 ways that money can actually buy you happiness, according to a study, if you spend it in these 4 ways. Our first way is if you spend extra time, that can buy you happiness. Our second way is if you spend it on a great experience.
That's
Love
the one
that
I just talked about.
And the third one is if you spend it with someone you care about. Human beings are social by nature, and there's plenty of evidence that both a healthy relationship with a significant other and feeling part of a community can help you actually live longer. So when you spend money on people that you care about, it helps build that relationship, therefore building you happiness. They say statistically that one of the biggest challenges with people who are getting older is they isolate themselves.
Right.
So super important to...
Well, I think our kids with social media isolate themselves.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
So taking somebody out to lunch, taking your buddy out for a burger or a beer, and having that face-to-face time as compared to the isolation, that is the best money that you can
And
spend.
that's going to actually bring you happiness. And you can even share this with your kids. It was really great. It was like music to my ears. Because the other day, Cole, he said, I'm just going to pick up the phone and call the person. And I was like, yay. It's so, this relationships that people have over social media and stuff isn't really a relationship. It's kind of fooling our kids that they have these relationships that they don't. Calling the person, talking to the person, spending time with the person,
and
spending some
money.
money on them is really going to help bring happiness.
Absolutely.
All
So
right?
I want to do number 4.
Okay.
You spend it on someone else. So the last one is you spend it with someone you care about. This one is you spend it on someone else. And this is amazing. It says, when researchers gave college students some extra cash and instructed one group to spend it on themselves and the other group to spend it on others, the second group reported much more happiness than the first.
Yeah.
And I think that is so...
Spenders are very giving. And so if you're spending money and you're actually giving something to somebody else...
You love it. And this is the
I
crazy
love
thing.
it.
I know that, like, for Bethany and I, a few of the organizations that we really are passionate about, and we get to give money, but then we end up getting so much more back, especially when we're giving money and we're serving. And to me, that is the best money that we spend, is money that goes to our church, Friends of Club 21, and some other organizations that we really are passionate about, because we get so much back from the people that we serve than money. So,
But and true spenders, people who are primary spenders or secondary spenders, are going to really experience that joy probably even more than someone who is on the saver, security seeker side. The reason is because it's our natural bent to want to do that. But then when we do it, it just brings us so much joy. I know I went to a missions trip in Russia, and I was like, okay, we're going to help these people out. Well, you know what? They ended up giving up so much back. So, when you give, you just get so much back. And so spenders just celebrate the fact that you're a spender, and that just brings you so much joy. So why don't we just review these 4 points? One of the things that a person who's helping us with our FaceTime said, make sure you repeat your points and what you're talking about. And what we're talking about today is that money can actually buy you happiness, but you've got to use that money in certain ways. That's what really brings you happiness. And this is a great article. It's by a Mindy Zitlin. And we just glomped right onto it because today we're celebrating spenders. So just to repeat our points is if you spend money on extra time. So in other words, giving yourself like
maybe somebody helping you clean your house,
a housekeeper,
yard work
or whatever. That's going to give you more time. Spend your money doing that. You spend it on a great experience. You spend it with someone else you care about, or you spend it on someone you care about. So those are all, I just think, really, really great tips. Spenders unite.
Boom.
We are super excited about the really God-given internal money personality that you have, and it comes out in so many positive ways. So woot to you, and we're excited to have you with us. We're going to have one more session tomorrow, celebrating spenders.
Celebrating our spenders.
For you to join us, 12 o'clock Mountain Time, and we always love comments. We always love hearts and thumbs flying across the screen. So please be sure to join us tomorrow. And as always, make it happen.